Hey everyone, how's it going? Another video here out on a walk. Strapped for time this week, so I gotta squeeze this in when I can. So doing a little double duty. But I wanted to share something that I was like super blown away with the other day. It's just like you're walking through life and you see something, you're like, oh my god, this is insane to me, right? And it was like insane in a good way, right? So my son is taking some karate lessons. And so I was watching his karate lesson in I guess you call it a dojo. I'm not really up on the karate terms, but the place where he was taking karate, they also have a small section that is a gym. They have a couple squat racks and dumbbells and whatnot, right? And so my son's doing his lesson, and I noticed there's this baby over in the gym section in one of those, I don't know what you call them. I guess you like there's something you use before they're old enough to walk, right? So you put them in there and it's like a seat and it's like a circular thing and they can push themselves with their feet. They're not yet able to stand up and walk themselves, but they can sit in this thing and push themselves around. We had them for our kids, but I can't remember what they're called. Anyways, there's a baby in one of those things in the gym section. I'm like, what? I had to do a double take. Why is there a baby here? And I quickly realized that it was the baby was with their dad, and his dad was getting a workout. And so the dad would do, after he was doing some rows and some bench pressing, I think. And in between sets, he would go over and play with the baby for a little bit, and then he'd go do a set. And she was happy and content. I was really impressed. She didn't make a sound the whole time. She was just strolling around, and he would go over and play with her, and then he'd go do a set, and she'd go off, and then he'd go do a set and come back, and they're having a great time together. And that's the first time I've ever seen anything like this before. And I honestly wanted to walk up to the guy and just give him a high five. You're making it work, buddy. You're getting this workout. You got your baby here. Kudos to you. It's 6 o'clock at night. You're like crushing it on many levels here. I don't know the guy. I don't know how good of a dad he really is or anything like that, but this is the first time I've ever seen something like this before. And it really just to me was like, when you have the dedication to do something, you'll find a way to make it work, right? If you really want to live a healthy lifestyle, you find some way to get in that workout, to get in that walk, to eat that healthy meal, right? Does that mean it's going to be easy, enjoyable, fun? It's not. There's going to be hard times. And maybe that's the first time he was able to get to the gym in 2 weeks. I have no idea. This is the first time I've been there. My son had just started doing this, so I've only been to the gym once. Maybe he shows up and does this multiple times a week. Maybe it's the first time he's been able to get there since his daughter's been born. I have no idea. That day, at least, he had the dedication to show up and find a way to get in the workout, even though he had his daughter with him. And I remember when my kids were that young, there were situations like that where I was lucky enough that I had a home gym, especially once my son was born. We had a home gym, and I would get in a workout while they take a nap, or I get in a workout before they wake up in the morning. And sometimes those workouts would get, and it's still to this day, sometimes those workouts get interrupted, right? Because something happens, they need you, etc. Or if you have a really young child, you're doing a workout. There's plenty of times when I was doing a workout downstairs, they were napping. They should have napped for an hour. They napped for 20 minutes. I got in a couple sets of something, and that was it. That was the end of the workout, right? Those days are super frustrating and super hard, and there's probably going to be a long stretch of time, especially when your kids are young, when that's going to happen. There's always a way around it, right? There's always tomorrow's another day, right? Where it might be better, right? And eventually, hopefully a few years down the line, it is better, right? It just speaks to whatever challenging point you are in your life, trying to navigate your health challenges, whether you're a young parent or you're a grandparent, right? When trying to get back to where Now all the kids are gone and you want to be around for your grandkids and you're trying to change maybe decades of health neglect that's challenging, right? And mobility is not what it used to be. And just even doing some basic things is hard, right? Everyone has their own challenge when it comes to initiating change and doing things. But if you're really dedicated and you really want to get the change done, you tend to find a way to get it done. Like I said in the beginning, you're not gonna find a solution right off the bat, and it's not gonna be easy all the time, but you'll find a way, right? And it's just about being okay with failure, with being okay with it not being perfect, being okay with having to adapt your approach based on life changes and circumstances and situations, but you can find a way, right? And one of the things I love about being a coach is helping people find that way, exploring different options, exploring different approaches, understanding that failure is part of the game, understanding that perfection is not necessary, and that we're just shooting for somewhat okay most of the time. That applies to exercise, it applies to diet, it applies to your sleep, it applies to your stress. There's going to be times where things won't go okay. There's going to be times where you get 6 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep. There's going to be times where your stress is on the higher side, and I understand that. And you're going to have to find a way around it. And as a coach, my job is to help you navigate those situations and provide some direction. I don't always have the answer. I don't always have the solution, but we can explore different options and try and find an approach that is going to work for the situation you're in. And that's really what it's all about. But the only way to be successful is for you to have the dedication, the openness to learn, understanding that failure is okay, having a growth mindset from those failures, all that stuff is stuff that as a person you need to be there. And I find that the people who are most successful that are open to failure, open to explore things, have the dedication, the growth mindset, those are the people that usually really get long-term success. So that's just something I wanted to share with you. I thought it was a great example of that dad was having. Like I said, I don't know if he really does that all the time. It was a one-time thing and I just have to catch him, but I thought it was a good example of his dedication. I'm sure he preferred to be there by himself, getting in a workout. Maybe his workout would have been better, but having his daughter there, watching him work out, I can't really argue with that. He was doing far more than he probably could have imagined doing in the beginning, but I think he's explored different options and found a way to get in that workout. And luckily the gym lets him bring his daughter and get in the workout. So, yeah, great example of that. So if you have any experiences like that or need help for trying to explore different options and finding the approaches that are going to work for you, and you have that dedication, you just need help with the application part of it, feel free to reach out. I do have a couple of one-on-one spots open for coaching, and give me a shout. You can always leave a comment and direct message me, get in touch with me about that stuff. But the best way to explore that option is to go to my website at rjbhealth.coach, click on the schedule discovery call button on the homepage, and fill out that form, and I can get back to you. We can talk a little bit more about that. With that, hope everyone has a great week, and I'll chat to you all next week.